like for me, that's a hidden identity because like people never assume that I am an immigrant. I People often can't like kind of place my accent geographically, but they never would assume that it's not American somehow. Um, and so like I find myself in situations where like sometimes white people will spout off about immigrants, and then like so I know that stuff is out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know that really well, and so I think if anything, that's really pushed me to feel like, yeah, there is this thing called immigrant identity, and like we got to stick together, and um,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's important because like if people don't realize that immigrants bring a crazy amount of strength to this country, um, then like we got to push back against that.
That's powerful. I believe in systemic equity, and I see something that you have your role in building leadership team is really helping um, dismantle some of those structures, and that's one of my really areas of passion. Can you speak on how you might have in your role in building leadership team or in any other role, professional development team, have helped advocate for students or have brought back information to your students that might not have gotten to them if you or somebody from the team wouldn't have been at that table?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a hard one for me because I feel like there's just so much that I wish I could be doing, and I just feel like I'm constantly sort of like chipping away and trying to do like, like the things that I'm choosing to do right now, I feel like are sort of low hanging fruit. Like, here's something I can take on this year, but like, there's so much more that I feel like is needed because like I do feel like the system is stacked, like, um, I mean, like for students who arrive in the US, like by definition the kids I work with have arrived in the US in the last couple of years. And they're jumping into a system that's completely stacked against them because like high school carries so much weight here, and there's not a lot of, I mean, like we have some alternate paths, but like not that many, right? Like sure you can like get a GED, or like there's some like IBEST at the Seattle colleges and stuff. Like there are some options if a kid isn't able to like pull it off and graduate high school in the 4-year time frame, but like for the most part the system is predicated on like you've had like everything you've done up to this point is setting you up for these 4 years that are critically important because like your high school transcript is going to determine like a chunk of your future. And when a kid's just arrived, like they're not on the same starting line. So and then like some stuff I think is just like real roadblocks, like I feel like Washington State history is one of these. Like, I totally get why legislators felt like it was important for every student in Washington to learn about Washington State history and civics. But on the other hand, any kid who wasn't in Seattle in 7th grade typically doesn't have Washington State history completion on their transcript. So like they need to do that to graduate. They don't get credit for it. We don't even offer the class, so we hand them a packet. And and the packet is just not super accessible. So that's like one of the projects that I took on this year. And I mean, I don't know, like that really had nothing to do with like my being on the building leadership team or anything like that, because it was just like, dude, this really needs to happen. And it's it's not like in my job description, but I'm gonna make it my job because I'm teaching newcomers, and every single one of them, every single one of them need this. So like I didn't think I was going to be teaching social studies, but now I'm teaching social studies. We're going to work our way through that packet. We're going to go on a field trip. Like we're going to make it happen. And like now they all have these fat folders of all this work that they did to jump through that hoop. And it's like, that's great, but like I still feel like the hoop shouldn't exist. It feels unfair. you know, because it means that not only do our kids have to like try to do the same work in high school despite not having the same kind of background to be able to handle that work, but now you're throwing additional work at them that everybody else doesn't have to do because they got checked off for it in 7th grade, and it's not even a high school credit. So like stuff like that, I start to kind of, you know, like that's where I start to get opinionated.
Yeah, that's
like,
good. That's legit.
It's hard.
Okay, so on that note, last question. What can the school district or state